Banshee Fever 750. Well, had a small incident with the trail tech a while back, and just kind of something I didn't bother fixing for a while, but ended up having to, these trail techs, I actually had two issues. These trail techs, they're really good. I've had this one for 5 years now, and there's two options. One of them you can hardwire it, and then I believe 7 LEDs will light up for the backlight and then it'll stay on. If not, you can run them just with the battery. You just use one of those CR25, I believe. You know, little round flat style batteries. CR123, let's see what it says. Yeah, actually CR2032 battery. And anyways, what happens is when it loses 12 volt power, it goes into this mode where, let me see if I can get it to light up right here. You can see that, see how hard it lights up? I think only 1 or 2 LEDs go on. So anyways, so I was trying to figure out what was going on. You know, the power was on there. It was mounted correctly. The plugs were in. I ran my test light. I was trying to figure out why power wasn't getting up there. And anyways, what I found was that the connector that actually comes with the trail tech, they've got these little white connectors. Kind of look something like this over here. See this connector right here? Really nice connectors. You see that? Well, it failed. So what I did was I ended up just splicing the wire, the connector, and just put some nice butt connectors on there, and then rewired that up. This is just loose, so if anybody's going to say anything about anything negative about my wiring, you can save it, because all this goes in conduit just like everything else. You can see I put everything in conduit. All the wiring and everything gets sleeved and wrapped up and tucked away real nice. But anyways, and these butt connectors are not pushing all the way because I'm not done here yet. But so the connector failed. So if you have a trail tech Vapor and all of a sudden you're not getting power to your trail tech, just check. When you check your connections, it is possible that these pretty awesome connectors will fail. So that's what happened to me. So, but then another thing that failed was the see this bracket? It actually mounts onto your handlebar like so. And you don't want to tighten up that bolt too much, because what it does is just plastic. It'll just tear it apart. But I've never tightened it down really hard. It's always kind of been a little loose on there. But eventually on one cold day it just snapped. So right now I'm making one out of aluminum that should do the trick. But anyways, you can see the difference in how it lights up. So I'll just lay it there, and I'll turn the ignition key. Let's see and then you'll see how much brighter it is. See, it's a lot brighter now. So you can see how much brighter that is now, versus just having 2 LEDs on for the backlight. But anyways, I've still got to order my fly screen. I'm going to put a fly screen to cover these gauges here, and I may just move this. This was just there for convenience, but I may move this up here and then a fly screen over that, and then I might put the radar detector here, because some of these trails that we ride in, they've got DNRs standing there with radar detectors, you know, waiting for you. And sometimes the local sheriffs will sit there also with the radar guns at the cross intersections. So if I can sniff them out far away before they pop me, it's my legal right. So that's why they sell the radar detectors. But I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to mount it there, and then I'll have the shield, you know, the tinted shield, come over this like that, like so, like the sport bikes. And then on this side I'm going to have the radar detector going off. Have that set up for so that they don't pop me. And but I'll show you real quick what's going on. Just trying to touch up a few things. What's nice about that trail tech, I'll tell you what I like about the trail tech, is that it's got a speedometer on there, and that was the biggest thing for me, was the speedometer. and that's huge. It's even got a tachometer, temperature gauge, engine temperature, shift lights, rev limiters. It's got a little data logger on there. This is the older model, but it's still, you know, it's working great still. I mean, I've got no complaints about it other than the bracket breaking and a plug failing. But I mean, if that's all that went wrong in 5 years of abuse, then it's a great product. And you can see over here, so I'm trying to do these things to this Banshee. I've got a couple things, you know, that I've got to do ball joints on this thing. But here's the cable that goes to the speedometer bracket. See that? So then I had to remove one of the brake roller bolts and replace it with one of the sensors. So, and that's what it does. As the wheel spins, the sensor picks up, reads the sensors, and it counts the rotations. And then you got to measure the wheel, the height of the wheel, you draw a line on the ground, then you roll it, and then you can also, that to get you going, there's a formula to it in the manual. But then after that, you know, you want to test it. So you can take it out on the trails and use a Garmin GPS or, you know, something that's pretty accurate, and then you can fine tune it from there. If it's, you know, 4 or 5 miles an hour off, you can also fine tune it and get it right on. So it's GPS verified. And don't forget, these wheels expand. They expand a lot. So once you're doing 80, 90, 95 with these things, it's going to read slower because the tire is going to expand. It's just the way it is. But yeah, this kit actually was for the, I called Trail Tech up and I said, look, I want a Yamaha Banshee Trail Tech computer, but what I also want is I want a temperature gauge, and the Banshee kit doesn't offer a temperature gauge. So what they said was you got to get the Rhino utility, the Yamaha Rhino utility vehicle. There's a part number 75-21-2011, and what that gives you is, see if I can find it. Wait a minute, it's the wrong drawer. Here it is. What that'll give you is this. This comes with the part. See, the Yamaha Rhinos are liquid cooled. You know, the Yamaha Rhino 660s are the same as the Raptor engine. So there was my coolant sensor. Back when I first built this, the wiring harness was shot because it came off a wrecked bike. So there was a lot of things I couldn't use and, you know, repatch up. It was just really complicated. So what I did was end up using this Rhino kit, and you splice the coolant tube, and then here's your temperature meter, and then it can tell you, you can set it for overheat, you can set it for all kinds of things. You know, if the temperature gets too hot, the light will blink. You can keep an eye on it, you know, and it's nice. It's right on the gauge. So that's what that comes with, and that's what Trail Tech recommended for me back in the day. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna make the bracket. I had some aluminum laying around here, so I got it in the vise, and what I'm going to do is I just put it on there. I'm going to trace it. I traced it, and I'm just going to take the saw and cut, and I'm actually going to reposition it a little bit better, put it in a better spot. Drill the holes, and then clean it up a little bit. Put the part on the vise, drill a couple holes on there, and then countersink it a little bit. And then voila, I'll have a new bracket, you know, clean it up. Just gonna use the regular air saw just to buzz off that aluminum bracket. So that's that. So little by little, just button up the Banshee. I still haven't thought about the color schemes yet. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Just kicking it around, what I'm gonna do. What color I'm gonna paint it, what color I'm gonna paint the rims, and all that other good stuff that coming along. But anyways, Banshee fever, a little tired. I'm gonna sign out now, and just figured I'd give you guys a little update, show you what's going on with the Trail Tech, and just wanted to say that Trail Tech makes a good product, and I'm very happy with it. So it's just kind of like my own little personal review. I've had it for years. I've had the sensors, I had the temperature sensors, shift lights. But once I ended up rewiring, I rewired the whole ATV, and I bought a brand new wiring kit. I ended up buying new gauges, so I no longer need most of the features that are on this. So I'm basically just using it for ambient temperature. So it's 49 degrees here in the garage. I'm using it for miles per hour, trip distance, and clock. So that's pretty much what I'm using it for. So the Banshee Fever 750. Figured I give you guys a shout out, quick review on the Trail Tech. And you want to share any experiences with your Trail Tech computer, or what you got going on with your street bike powered Banshee, drop a line. Banshee Fever 750, over and out.